Hello everybody and welcome to the Eclectic Knitter podcast. My name of course is Raylene. You can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as Kamana Knits. This nose here is Cyrus. You can find show notes for this episode as always at theeclecticknitter.com. Episodes are uploaded to YouTube and linked on the blog if you prefer to watch that. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. I hope you enjoy this episode. If you're a new viewer, I hope you come back after this episode and that you enjoy it. This is my second time recording because the first time I hit the picture button and didn't realize it and then talked on for 20 minutes. And then when I stopped, I realized I had not recorded anything. So I'm brilliant this morning. It is Saturday, December 1st. It is my mom's birthday. We just got back from the off-leash park a while ago. So Cyrus is tired and sleepy and lazy, just the way I like him. So he was laying down nicely, but now he's like bugging me because I kept saying his name. So, no, what are you doing? I know you're needy. I know you're needy. Okay, so I have a lot of new works in progress. I have no finished objects though, so that's how that is. I have no spinning either. I have been working kind of on my Hedgehog Fiber Superwash Merino Nylon. I think I showed it last time I recorded. I'm done half of it, so I have singles. Half the singles are done, and I'm working on the second half. And yeah, so the first thing that I had put down beside me, but I used to have over here, so we're now going to move everything the other way. This isn't a fat squirrel fiber. This was a pre-order. It's Subtle Harry Potter Sock Plus bag. I really like her Sock Pluses. I have a bunch of them. They're my favorite. Her bags are my favorite anyway. Okay, dog. You know what my fingers smell like. How may I help you? Oh, you want to lick? I don't want you to lick. I don't want you to lick. Okay. So these, I think I've talked about them, but I don't think I've shown them. I'm knitting some tube socks for my niece out of leftovers of Knitterly Things Vesper sock, thick sock. This is a 75% superwash wool, 25% nylon. This is in the OMG Pastels colorway. This was one of her Rainbow Club colorways. I'm doing a simple ribbed tube sock with no heel and then a toe, and I'm using my standard rounded toe, but I adjusted it slightly for the smaller stitch count because I only do 48 stitches. This base I find super thick, and I knit it to get a really dense gauge. I knit it on US 1.5s. Instead of 1s or 0s. So I'm doing a rounded toe, and usually I do a decrease round and then I knit 5 rows, and then I do a decrease round and knit 4 rows a la Yarn Harlot. But because of the lower stitch count, I did a decrease row, knit 4 rows, decrease row, knit 3 rows, and etc. So this is the first sock. It's been done for a while. This is my second sock, and as you can see, it has no needles in it because I am brilliant. I was determined to get these done last night. I'm just going to, I hope this doesn't give any of you anxiety. This is the second time I've ripped this toe back. So the first time I did it, I didn't look at the other sock at all and just did a decrease row round every other round. And then realized that I wasn't using as much yarn as I had on the first toe. So then I looked at my first toe and realized I had done my rounded toe. So I ripped it back and I started doing my regular rounded toe. Decrease round, knit 5 rows. Then I realized it was turning out much larger than my first toe. Then I actually counted my first toe and realized I had made an adjustment and not only started off with 4 rows before the second decrease row. And then I put it away because I was done. It was a whole bunch of nope after that. So I was going to have these done for you, but my brain was just apparently not there. So after that, I cast on the body for a new sweater and miscounted horribly. I will tell you about that later, but yesterday evening was not a good night for knitting. The next thing I'm going to show you is something that you did see last week. So this is the first finished opal sock. I did a heel flap and gusset. Now I have not done a heel flapping gusset in over 2 years. So this foot looks really short to me. Like I started the toe here the gusset ends here. That seems really short. Now, the person that this is for, my mom basically commissioned me to knit these, has smaller feet than me. She has feet that are almost the same size as my mom thinks. So I'm going to get my mom to try these on tonight when I see her for her birthday supper. And then we'll see. So she's going to be in a restaurant trying on a sock. Because that's how we roll in my family, or at least that's how I roll. So yeah, this one's done. Once I've verified that it is the right length, then I will cast on the second one, and then we will have at her. And then hopefully those will be done soon. The next thing, I talked about this yarn last week, but now I've actually cast something on with it. This is hand spun. This is a 2-ply. This is Hello Yarns in the Happy Happy Thank You colorway. It's from her, I think, 10-year anniversary. Not this year, but last year. This is her fin base, or fin fiber. It's a 2-ply. It is fairly loosely spun, as you can kind of see. Hopefully. Fairly loosely plied. Well, I mean, probably the originals are pretty loose twist. As I mentioned last week, I had put this on my wraps per inch counter and figured out it was about a lace weight, which was not intended. Light fingering lace probably, because it's only a 2-ply. So it wouldn't work for the gloves that I originally wanted to do. I realized when I was talking earlier that I could have held it double, but I did find my gloves, and I don't really enjoy knitting gloves. So I have cast on a sock head hat by Kelly McClure. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. It's a super popular pattern. I only have a couple, maybe half an inch of ribbing, which probably isn't going to show up very well because it's going to want to focus on my face. So the stitch marker that I'm using is from Boss Lady Yarn Co. I think she's out of Edmonton. She did a club, a 3-month club, based on these doors that she found pictures of. Each door was kind of a different color, and then she did matching sock sets to match. So the last one was green, and there was also a purple and a blue, I think, purple and yellow. And you got a little door stitch marker for every month. And I am knitting this on US 2.5s. That's a 3.0 millimeter needle. This fin is definitely not Merino soft. It's not even BFL soft. It's probably the roughest fiber that I have spun. So I'm not sure if it's really going to work for a hat. I'm just not sure. I think it'll be too rough for my forehead. I think it's going to be itchy. For gloves it would have been fine, but like I said, I did decide to do a hat. I'm not sure. Maybe I will hold it double, because then I've got 220 yards of a DK/worsted, which would be enough to do a pair of gloves or mitts, because I would do them full. But then I have to knit a lining if I really want them warm enough for this weather. I don't know. It's non-superwash too, so I feel like with gloves they're getting wet because I'm using them, of course, outside in the snow. So I don't know. The last thing that I'm working on is a new cast on again. I'm doing a test knit for Tin Can Knits. So all I'm going to say about the pattern is it's a bottom-up sweater. I'm knitting it out of Targhee worsted, from Blue Moon Fiber Arts. You get giant skeins of this. Color is True Blood Red, as you can see right there. I've never knit with 100% Targhee. I don't think I have. No, I have some Targhee fingering, but that's superwash. So I have 3 skeins. I will show you one of the skeins. It is less brown than it shows up on camera. It's more vibrant. It's similar to Tarte by Madeline Tosh in that it is a dark jewel tone red that's overwashed by black. So it's like my favorite red. I'm not really a fan of red otherwise. I really like a deep, rich red. So I have knit on this quite a bit. I have finished both sleeves this week. I'm just going to show you one. I am knitting this on a US 7, which is a 4.5 millimeter needle, to get 18 stitches per inch once blocked. I did do a gauge swatch, and I did gauge swatched on 6s, and got 20 stitches per 4 inches. I just cast on the body last night. Let me tell you, that was after I had did the toe debacle. I then had to cast on over 250 stitches for my size for the body. So I did the smart thing, used 2 skeins, because I have all 3 skeins wound and going, basically. So I used the 3rd skein and one of the other skeins that I used to knit the sleeves, and was doing my regular, normal cast on. Excuse me. And I did it. And then I knit the first round of 1x1 ribbing. And then I ended on a knit stitch, or I knew I wasn't going to have an even number of stitches. And I had counted before I started the first row, only to realize when I recounted that I was 7 stitches short. And I didn't want to rip back. So I like janky it. I have a million ends to weave in, and some of them probably aren't long enough to weave in. Just putting that out there. So I basically cut where I went from the cast on to the second to the first round, which means I have 2 really short ends there. And then cast on more stitches so that the bottom would look the same, but I have like a billion ends there. It looks, like I said, it looks janky. Once I weave in ends, I'm sure it'll be fine. I hope it'll be fine. I'm not redoing it. Who looks at the hem of your sweater anyway? That's what I'm saying. If I weave in the ends, it'll look the same. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Don't care. Not redoing it. But yeah, last night was really not a good night for knitting. The knitting world is sad, sad, sad for me. That's all I'm working on. Like I said, we just went to the off-leash park. So Cyrus is sighing greatly. I have a birthday supper tonight. I am knitting on everything I want to knit on. Nomadic yarns, I have not finished those socks. They are just sitting there waiting for heels. I may knit a pair of fingerless gloves before Christmas. I've been wearing fingerless gloves to work because it's cold in that office and my fingers get cold. And one of my coworkers keeps saying how much she likes them, so I'm thinking I may knit her a pair. So yeah, that's about it. This time I actually hit record like a smart person. And yeah, so it's all good in the non-hood, because I don't live in the hood. But I need to eat lunch and breakfast because I haven't eaten yet and I'm hungry. So I will talk to you guys later. I hope you enjoy the next couple weeks, 1 or 2 weeks, and I will see you later. Bye.